Ladies and gentlemen, hospitalizations are going through the roof in the US right now. Many hospitals are reaching full capacity. So the situation is definitely getting worse as we're in the fall, and probably going to get even worse in the winter as people are more indoors, especially in cold states. So this came out on NPR November 10th, 2020. I have some audio I'm going to have you listen to.
One sign that the United States is in a coronavirus surge: hospitalizations around the country have nearly doubled since late September. Some hospitals are already talking about rationing care. Will Stone has more. Back in the spring, Dr. William Melms was watching the surge of COVID patients in New York City and readying his hospitals in Wisconsin to endure the same. We waited and waited. It did not come. About 6 months later, it has arrived. Melms is the chief medical officer at the Marshfield Clinic Health System, which covers mostly rural Wisconsin. We will be pushed to the limit by the end of the month. COVID patients are filling up their beds at an unsustainable rate. And because so many parts of Wisconsin and the Midwest are under siege, Melms says there are not many places they can turn to, either to send their patients or to get extra staff. Creating the manpower to take care of our patients is the dilemma. We don't have any areas to decompress. We don't have safety valves to put our patients. This is the message coming from more hospitals in more states every day. For weeks, the U.S. coronavirus pandemic has shattered records. In the wake of those sky-high numbers come hospitalizations. Lauren Sauer studies hospital capacity at Johns Hopkins University.
We have legitimate reason to be very, very concerned about our health system at a national level.
That's because this surge could wash over many places simultaneously. In at least 18 states, COVID patients account for more than 10% of all hospitalizations.
Above that 10% is where we really think, okay, perhaps we have to start enacting surge strategies and crisis standards of care in some places.
Crisis standards of care, a broad term for how hospitals make decisions around treatment when resources are limited. In the worst case scenarios, it can lead to rationing of care. Some states, including Utah, have recently warned this could be on the horizon. Mashid Abir is an emergency physician and researcher at the University of Michigan and the RAND Corporation. If there are many epicenters, Abir says it will be much harder to shuffle around resources because everyone will be overwhelmed.
So it's space, staff, and stuff. And you need all three. And if you don't have one, it doesn't matter if you have the other two.
And most U.S. hospitals already don't have much cushion. They usually run close to capacity, especially during flu season. Then on top of that, add COVID patients who can require lots more time and care, and it strains the system.
This is a scarce resource. Critical care nurses are scarce, ventilators are scarce, as you know, respiratory therapists are scarce.
And she worries about to become even more scarce. For NPR News, I'm Will Stone.
All right. So, as you heard, hospital beds are filling up fast in the US, and healthcare workers, I was looking at some of the stories out there, they are woe out from all of the flu and COVID activity that's going on in the country. So, everything is skyrocketing, and they are dealing with tons of patients coming in. So already the seriously ill COVID-19 patients are starting to fill up hospital beds at unsustainable rates. So they said that overall nearly double the amount of people are going into the hospital than back in September. That's what they're seeing in November. So as of Tuesday, 59,275 COVID patients were hospitalized around the country. So it's way up from midsummer and spring of last year. So they are very concerned about space and being able to sustain the amount of people that are coming in on a daily basis. So right now, it's rising. Hospitalizations are rising in 47 out of 50 states in the US. And 22 states are seeing their numbers at the highest ever since the pandemic began. So, with the numbers growing nearly everywhere, the key question for hospital leaders and policymakers is when the community is on the brink of having more patients than it can handle. But what other choice do you have? Not unless you come up with some type of makeshift facility where you can take these people and keep them separated from everyone else. That's what I think they really should do. I don't even know why they're trying to cram everybody in the hospital. It makes it a very dangerous situation. You could be in there for a whole different reason and leave out of there with COVID. They really should take some of these facilities that are empty, especially these office buildings that companies have no intentions on going back to, and maybe set up like a makeshift facility just for COVID patients. Keep everybody together that's sick. So, So the latest data, HHS, shows that 18 states, mostly in the Midwest, COVID-19 hospitalizations have already climbed above 10%. 6 states, over 15%, North Dakota, South Dakota, which are now over 20%. So the percentage of hospital beds taken up by a COVID patient doesn't tell the complete story about the hospital capacity. Hospital capacity is not so much static numbers, but yeah, so it's all about space. And I mean, look, America never anticipated a pandemic. So these hospitals, they can only take so many at a time, you know? Wow. You would think they knew this was coming. They knew this was coming because in the summer they were talking about fall and winter and how bad it was going to be. But as you can see, despite talking about it, it don't seem like they really did much to prepare for it. You can even go out there. There are stories of PPE issues. Um, at some hospitals, not all of them, but some hospitals are reporting a shortage on even protective gear that they need. And all I can say is, whatever you can do to keep yourself healthy, do it because it looks like it's going to be very bad in the country. In my state, the governor just gave like a curfew to restaurants and bars, and I think they're not allowed to have people there past 10 o'clock. So the curfews are coming, and if you start seeing these curfews, you're going to see lockdowns. It's inevitable. I got a story a little later, 5 states that are talking about doing a lockdown in the US. So I don't know how you can avoid it at this point. But y'all, please tell me what you think. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.